shield is proccing. Holy shit!
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous, but I don't give a fuck, I'ma keep chasing. I got all this potential that's deep inside of me, but they hate when you're successful cause they try to be. They sit there being judgmental because you're trying things, and they just want you to settle and do the right thing. So get a good job.
What's going on, YouTube? My name is Embious, and today I got a build for you for Rafa. I'm going to call this the drive-by build because of how much speed we get from this. There's a few things that we've got playing around to boost our movement speed, and there is some more options out there if you want to take the meme even further. But if you want to make sure that you can also still do a lot of damage to bosses and a lot of the mobs in the game and badasses and stuff, this is probably going to be like roughly like that middle ground of what you want if you want to get all that extra included speed versus just pumping out as much damage as possible. We're sitting like right there in the middle ground. All right, this is definitely like a meme build. You can take this so many steps further to get yourself even more movement speed, and you can also take this so many steps further into getting a lot more damage. So I'm kind of sitting right in the middle ground of the two because it's really fun to play like this. So let's get into it. Now, the first things first, one of the most important pieces of equipment you are going to need is one, your favorite gun. For me, that is the Hot Slugger. I like rocking this because it hits like a truck. A lot of the squishy mobs that are in the game, they get one tapped from this even without any kind of setup. It's insane. It really is. Now, the other piece of equipment that you are going to absolutely need is one of these Stellium shotguns. There is an interaction with the Rafa Peacekeeper cannons and the beam tosser as long as you have the Mixologist weapon enhancement here. I found out about this from Moxie's channel and I wanted to see if I can make it my own. Now, the only thing I wish I can get rolled onto this that would do this even better would probably switching out either the gunfire rate or the gun critical damage for gun damage. That would probably take it another step further. But what you're really looking for in order to make this build work is this Mixologist enhancement. It could be blue, it could be purple. If you have a legendary Malawan with this one, God bless you. You know what I mean? What this is going to allow you to do is you're going to pair the beam tosser with Mixologist and the Peacebreaker cannons. There is an interaction where it makes your Peacebreaker cannons do a lot more damage, right? So if I make this guy a target, I activate my whatchamacallit here, right? So if I'm shooting this one, we're seeing a lot of like 1Ks, 4Ks, maybe a couple 8Ks, the crits and stuff like that. But if I switch over into the beam tosser, we are starting to see significantly higher numbers. We're looking at 36s. That's a 32K proc right there. So for some reason, the beam tosser being put with these two Peacebreaker cannons are activating a higher damage number for the lasers here. And this is endless. This is endless. It only gets even worse when you pair together the crit knife with it. We're looking at 35 there. That's a 52K proc on radiation. That keeps ticking over and over and over again. So it does get pretty damn stupid. Obviously, crit knife is going to take it another step further, but you do not need it. It's going to make that abundantly clear. I personally like running things on my Ordinance. That gives me kind of like some form of CC. A lot of the time I'll run like a Singularity or something like that. Anything that makes the mobs react so they don't keep coming after me and they're kind of like dealing with something else, I would prefer to run something like that. But if you want to go all out on damage, obviously crit knife is the way to go. Now for the Repkit, if you get yourself a nice triple bypass, that'll probably be best in slot for you right there. You can rock whatever it is that you want. Right here I have an Enrage with a speed as well. Only because I'm trying to take the meme to another level. So whenever I do use a Repkit, I get another 40% speed for 6 seconds, which is just absolutely hilarious. I personally like running Enrage for something like this because it's going to buff our Peacebreaker cannons as well. But you can get yourself a nice triple bypass. If you want to go and contribute to the meme, find one with speed. If you want to get some extra damage out there, go for something like Enrage or Amp. If you want to actually like shoot the weapons That's all entirely up to you. Now, for the class mod, we are rocking the Devastating Dancer. For what we're looking to do here, this is best in slot because this is going to make us incredibly fast. It is giving us another bonus 100% to all overdrive bonuses. But the caveat is that when our action skill ends, so does the overdrive. So we get all of that speed just stripped away from us. So the name of the game is making sure that our action skill stays up as much as possible. We're doing that with a couple ways. Now, before I explain all of that, let me go through the rest of the gear. I am rocking a What's for Dinner. The only reason I want to get this one out here is because when we do hit enemies, we got a 12% chance to have them drop overshield when hit. And we can pick that up, and then when we do have that overshield, it's giving us an additional 25% bonus shock damage, which definitely plays into the Peacebreaker cannons that we're rocking here. I didn't get some incredible rolls on this one. When energy shields are full, regenerate health, and when shield is empty, it grants more gun handling, and I picked this up because it has the more movement speed on there. So there's definitely other things that you can rock here. If you wanted to play more into the meme, you could definitely find a shield that gives you Vagabond, so when your energy shields are full, you get even more movement speed. And like I said before, Mixologist is by far going to be your best friend for something like this, because without this, we're not really doing a lot of damage to bosses. We're focusing up a lot on speed here. So if you want to make this actually like viable with all of the speed, you got to pick up Mixologist. For the firmware, I am nowhere close to having this completely set out, right? If you wanted to, you could probably rock a couple pieces of Action Fist so your action skill gets more damage. You could rock 3 pieces of Deadeye. If you're using the crit knife, that gets even better. You don't need the crit knife for Deadeye to work great. Deadeye is already working really, really good, especially if you get 3 pieces, because every critical hit is going to give you more critical damage. This is going to be an extra 75% critical damage at the end of it all. So it does work pretty damn well with the build. But if you didn't want to rock Deadeye, you could definitely rock Action Fist. You can rock, what was that other one? Goo JFC. Goo JFC is going to give you more action skill cooldown rate and more action skill damage. You can rock 2 pieces of this, 3 pieces, however you want to do it. I would recommend Goo JFC, Action Fist, and Deadeye for this build. Now, moving on over into the skills, I definitely did take a lot of inspiration from Moxie's AFK Rafa build, but I did have to tweak it a little bit in order to make this more into a meme with how fast we are moving. Now, we are going to start off in the red tree. We're going to pick up Deft Hands. We're going to pick up 5 of these. This is going to make us have more fire rate on our Peacebreaker cannons, because they are going to be the main reason why we're actually able to take down bosses. So this is definitely a must-have. We're going to go into 5 pieces of Huerga. Whenever you do wind up getting a critical hit, your action skill duration is restored. This is absolutely necessary because with Instinto, whenever you do keep getting kills with this, yeah, you're going to restore your action skill duration, sure, but you're also making it so that your action skill duration drains faster. The more kills you get, the faster this drains. So it's like a race against the clock. That's why I'm recommending the triple bypass for you, because you can compare that together with the Now with Caffeine specialization to get it back faster. But yeah, the name of the game is to keep Instinto alive. Next 5 points, we're going to go ahead and put them into Maestro. We have an extra 27% skill damage. We don't need any extra gun damage or anything like that, because Hot Slugger already hits like a truck. It's one of the best mobbing weapons. So right now, we're basically trying to buff our Peacebreaker cannons to help us along the way with this meme here. We're going to put 2 points into El Valiente just so we can get more damage out there. You could put more, you could put less. It's up to you. However far in you want to go to the meme, it's entirely up to you. Now, a lot of the skills over here are going to be very, very important. I would recommend coming over here first, but I'm going to explain to you what is making us so damn fast. Now, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put 5 points into Everdrive, but I am not 100% certain that this is making us have more action skill duration. This is telling you that you have more overdrive duration. Because we're rocking Devastating Dancer, whenever our action skill ends, overdrive ends, right? I'm not sure if somebody can tell me down in the comments if this is null and void because of Devastating Dancer. Please let me know, because I'm not sure if this is actually doing anything. I can't tell. But anyways, the next 5 points are going to go into Devil May Care. Now, this is what's giving us a bunch of movement speed right here. All right. Now, while the overdrive is active, Rafa gains increased movement speed and health regeneration. Health regeneration is what it is. It's a nice quality of life. But what we're really after is that movement speed. Now, at 5 points, this is going to give you 30% movement speed. All right. With Devastating Dancer, the overdrive bonuses are increased by 100%. So that 30% now moves up to 60%. If we look down here, we got Soltado. Whenever we get a kill, we're doubling overdrive bonuses. So we're taking that now 60% movement speed, doubling it, turning it into 120% movement speed. That's pretty quick. You could rock 5 points into Expedite. This is another overdrive skill. It's going to benefit from Devastating Dancer's increase there. So at 5 points, this is going to give you 25% movement speed. So double it from Devastating Dancer, that's going to be 50%. Double it whenever you get a kill, that is going to be another 100%. If you pair that together with over here, the Devil May Care, that is 120 plus 100%, 220% movement speed, just from your skills alone. Now, I thought that was a little too quick. I was actually missing a lot of shots when I was going that fast, so I took it back a little bit. But if you wanted to really just dive all into the meme, you definitely can. I took 5 points into Vitriol. This is going to give you more corrosive damage in order to get into the tree down below here. This is going to work very, very well with the Hot Slugger. Hot Slugger already hits like a truck. This is just another added benefit on top of it, because whenever you do fire, you reload immediately and you keep going and going and going. You always have this bonus corrosive damage on your Hot Slugger. It's a nice quality of life there. We're going to put 5 points into Concentrated Buildup. This is for bossing. With this one, the way this works is that the longer that you're aiming and dealing gun damage to an enemy, you're going to be getting a lot more bonus shock damage. The Hot Slugger is going to receive that first initial 10% of bonus damage dealt, which is nice. It gives it another element that it can shoot with, but it's not going to get the additional bonus damage out there. That is for your Peacebreaker cannons. Whenever you are going up against the boss, let's say, all you really need to do is make sure you take out your beam tosser and you can just aim at the guy, and it's a done deal. After that, I put in 1 point into El Alacran. Tell me in the comments if I butchered that one. The enemies damaged by Rafa's Peacebreaker cannons have an increased chance to receive the additional status effects. This is very, very nice, because we're also putting some points over here that whenever the enemy does have a status effect on them, there is a chance that these are going to ricochet, and the ricochet damage is going to be based on the damage dealt. All right. Now, with this build, we are always applying status effects, so we are constantly getting ricochets, even though it only says 9%. We are constantly getting ricochets. Moving on over to the left side of this red tree here, we're going to put some points over here into Asymmetric Warfare. This is going to tell you that indirect projectiles, which is your action skill weapons, your thrown guns, your projectiles from like Jacob's weapons, you name it. And there's so many different things in this game that is considered an indirect projectile from your character. These are all going to get increased projectile damage. Which brings us down into our last 5 points. We're going to put them into Errant Spark. All of our indirect projectiles are going to now deal an additional 40% bonus incendiary damage from the damage that was dealt originally. Weirdly enough, this works with the initial shot with Hot Slugger, which is why I still like rocking the weapon. I don't know why it's getting this bonus, but because it's getting that extra 40% damage dealt in incendiary, an extra 55% damage dealt in corrosive. And then if you're also aiming in before you take your shot, you're getting shock damage. So now your Hot Slugger is like a much stronger version of the Rainbow Vomit, if you ask me. And that is going to do it for the meme side of things. If you didn't want to rock all of the movement speed stuff, you could definitely take the points out from here. You don't need them at all. You could take the points out of here as well, and you can allocate them however you'd like. You can go Inspirado. Whenever you do inflict a status effect, you gain more cooldown rate and you get more duration rate. This is definitely good for keeping the build alive. It's definitely better than Devil May Care, I'll tell you that much right now. I just really like the movement speed. It's very, very fun. You can finish out Pain Reaction. You can go into lateral planking. There's so many different things that you can do. You can get some lifesteal from your indirect projectiles, and you can make this an entirely AFK build. I don't personally like being AFK and letting everything else do the damage for me. I like being a part of the damage, so that's why I like rocking the way I do here. For the specializations, it is important to make sure you're buffing your Peacebreaker cannons. I was doing some testing earlier, that's why this looks a little funky right here. But what you would want to do is you want to take 10 points into runner. Now, for this build that I have here, the bullet train is definitely going to get a lot of value because of how fast we move. It is insane. I don't know what the actual calculation is. Somebody can tell me. This says that you get 15% more gun damage when you're walking. We personally are getting, whenever our action skill is up and whenever we get a kill, 120% movement speed there, 40% with the Repkit that we're rocking. And then if you get some Vagabond out there too, you might get, I don't know, I think if you can get a purple Vagabond, I think it's like 28 or 30% more movement speed. Somebody tell me down in the comments. If somebody can calculate how much damage we're actually getting from bullet train, I would greatly appreciate that. Now, after that, we're going to be putting 10 points down into sharpshooter. That's going to unlock Daredevil for us. Now, I definitely want to pick up now with caffeine. This is a must-have for the build because whenever your action skill does go down, you lose a lot of the value. You lose a lot of gun damage. You lose a lot of movement speed. Your Peacebreaker cannons that are doing most of the damage for you anyways are gone. So you definitely want to take up now with caffeine, which is why I was saying that triple bypass is definitely a good pick for this build if you can get a good roll on it. I am a gun is a must-have as well if you want to make sure you're doing a lot of damage, because now your Peacebreaker cannons are going to get all the 50% of the increases the gun damage, excuse me, and they will hit like a truck. Like you saw earlier, we're hitting like 54k procs. I personally went down and got contamination because we are proccing a lot of status effects. You don't need to rock this if you don't want to. You can go like into brute, so you can get rid of this. You can go down into survivor to get that extra 30% damage dealt whenever you're full. There's a lot of things that you could do here. I wouldn't recommend one shot, one kill. You're already doing enough damage for the mobs already, and you're not trying to one shot the bosses on this build. You're trying to gradually bring them down. So this is not needed. I would only put 10 points into here so you can get into Daredevil. Now, just to show you what this build looks like with everything going off at once, first things first, if you want, before you start up a fight, you can always pop the Repkit. If you got some good rolls on there, pop your action skill, and then you start doing some damage here, right? Now, for squishies, this is going to do a lot of damage, but what we're really after is how incredibly fast we are. Whenever you use your jetpack, you actually move slower. So I would highly recommend not using the jetpack unless you need to adjust where your momentum is going. And that's not even as fast as you can get to. So if you get a nice bit of movement speed here, and then you bring out your vehicle, you can see down at the bottom how fast you were moving before the vehicle came out. If you're going fully into the meme, you can probably hit like 130, 140 miles per hour. Now, that is going to be it for the build. If you guys did enjoy it, do me a favor and please leave a like, leave a comment, sub to the channel if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. We're going to go over more leveling guides as well, more Harlow stuff for sure, because Harlow is definitely my favorite character. We're going to look for different ways so we can have a lot of fun in this game and do some stupid stuff like this. Jesus Christ, we're so damn fast. Miss me, bitch.